Good morning, everybody. It's Bob from Mountain Crest Farm. You know, it's getting to be fall, real close. I forget how many days left. But the days are already starting to get shorter. And we're not seeing any leaves changing color, but they're getting a lighter green. But the temperature's not giving us a break yet. It's going to be 95 degrees today. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm slow getting out here to record this thing. I usually do them about 7:30, 7:45. But I decided to feed the pigs first because it was getting hotter. 85 degrees already. 9 o'clock and it's 85 degrees and about 85% humidity. Whew. I decided to get the pigs fed before I made the video. Otherwise it'd just be hotter when I got around doing that. And it's going to be hot. Clear blue sky. But starting tomorrow for 3 days, our nights are going to be 10 degrees cooler and our days are going to be 10 degrees. Actually, tomorrow is going to be about 13, 14 degrees cooler. We're going into the high 70s tomorrow and then a couple days of mid 80s. But the heat will be back. This is just a tease. You know, I've known this all my life. It's kind of hard to avoid. Oh, me. But I've discovered I'm a procrastinator of the first order. I look around here at things that need doing, and I have every intention of getting them done, but they're not done yet, and they should have been done a long time ago. I'm standing about 20 feet away from a half-built 8 by 20 little hoop house, greenhouse, that is where microgreens are supposed to be growing. Do you know when this half hoop house was built? All the hoops are in, the front and the back's in, hadn't put the plastic over it, hadn't built the shelving in it. Do you know when this was done? Last October. October 2018. Now, I've got an excuse for part of that. About 2 weeks after I got this first half done is when I was diagnosed with cancer. But man, surgery was January, radiation was February and March. And no, I don't have a ton of energy left. But, you know, I mean, it's taken it a while to come back. And it is coming back. But putting plastic over a greenhouse, my goodness, how easy is that? And if I didn't have the energy to build shelves, I could have put tables in there until I got shelves built. I've got about 6 or 8 of those, 2 foot wide, 8 foot long, 6 foot long. Plastic tables like you can use for a picnic and stuff. Heavy duty tables, put those in there. I could be growing microgreens right now. And I've got another hoop house that is 20 feet wide by 25 feet long for planting things in the ground. Lettuces and arugula, and yes, kale. No, I don't eat kale, but I do sell it, or I will be. Mini carrots, radishes. You know when I built that half a hoop house? It's about the same stage of completion as this first one. It's got a little bit more. I've got black shade cloth down on the ground underneath it to kill all the weeds out. You know when I did that? I did that the day after I did this one right here. In other words, last October. And the same thing. It'd take a little bit more effort to get it finished up than I would for the microgreens greenhouse, but not that much. But I keep putting it off. After radiation, I was figuring, well, I've missed farmer's market this year by the time I get started, which is a lie. At least on the microgreens, start to finish, from the time you seed until you harvest is 10 days. I didn't miss the farmer's market. I just put it off. What brought this about was I have had a leak under my house. Just a drip, 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 just a drip, drip, drip leak under my house, and a valve that needed replacing. If you touched the pipe and moved it at all, the drip was bad, but if you just left it alone, it was just a drip, drip, drip. And I've been putting it off fixing it. I knew I needed to fix it. Well, yesterday I wound up fixing it because night before last, or late in the afternoon, evening, after we had used water for the last time where we would notice it, my little piglets, who are good at getting out of the fence, but they don't go anywhere, they like to stay in the shade underneath my house. And they like water. And that little drip, drip, drip had created a little puddle, puddle, puddle. Well, 6 pigs, that puddle was about 3 good swallows each, maybe. And they decided they wanted more, and they noticed where that drip, drip, drip was coming from. And they started nosing it, trying to give them some more, and it gave them some more already. All right. Broke that valve, finished breaking the valve. We've got water going everywhere underneath the house. Don't know it, because we're not using any water. Drained the well, used up all the water in the well. This is all night before last. This is all Sunday night. All this is happening, and we don't know it until I go to make coffee yesterday morning. You notice today, Tuesday, y'all are watching this on Wednesday, but Tuesday when I'm recording this, you notice there's no video. And the reason is because when I would have recorded it yesterday, Monday, I was busy under the house replacing plumbing. Oh, they tore it up good. All I had to do to prevent it was fix that stupid valve that I have known for at least 6 months that it was leaking. And it's not like it would have been not like replacing the valve would have been a hard job. Now, what I wound up doing yesterday was a pain in the rear end because they tore up a bunch of plumbing. But replacing the valve, I could have done that the day after I got home from radiation. Nothing to it. But I'm a procrastinator. Why put off, one of my favorite sayings, why put off until tomorrow what you can put off until the next day? I gotta quit doing that. Procrastinating does the same thing that buying things that are cheap instead of inexpensive does. It's more expensive in the long run. Buying cheap instead of inexpensive, it's more expensive money-wise because you wind up having to do it 3 and 4 times. Well, procrastinating instead of getting stuff done is expensive time-wise because invariably going back and fixing what you didn't do or started to do and didn't finish takes more time. The plumbing, because of that valve, fixing that valve was a 5-minute job. I hate going under the house. This little greenhouse here for microgreens I was talking about, I could have finished it up, I don't know, a couple hours. Instead, I've got to go back and while I put ground cloth down in the bigger one, I didn't put any ground cloth down in here. I got a ton of weeds to get out of there. Just a ton of ground prep before I can even start back on finishing up the greenhouse. Costs me time. Procrastinating always costs me time. And you know what? I think I'm a fairly smart person. You would think I would get a clue eventually, but apparently not. But let me encourage y'all, if you're a full-blown procrastinator like me, I think there's a 12-step program for us. But if you're just leaning that way, you know, kind of like a guy that drinks a whole lot, but he's not an alcoholic yet, don't go down that road. Procrastinating it bites you in the rear every time. Oh, one thing, you notice I have not taken a sip of this today. This is for show today. This video is the coffee chat. And I always bring out my coffee. This is for show today. There's no coffee in it. It's 85 degrees and the humidity is about 85%. Here we are at 9 o'clock. I told you that earlier in the video. Well, I'm repeating it. It's 85 degrees and it's about 85% humidity. If y'all think I'm going to be drinking coffee, because I don't like iced coffee, I just like hot coffee. And if y'all think I'm going to be drinking hot coffee in this weather, y'all are crazier than I am. Anyway, I hope y'all have an awesome day. Despite the heat and humidity, I'm going to. I'm going to go sit in the air conditioning and edit this video for one thing. Y'all have a great day, and I will see y'all tomorrow, and don't procrastinate. Here's something not to procrastinate on, something real important not to procrastinate on. Don't procrastinate about knowing that the tomb was empty. And don't procrastinate about knowing that he is alive. Y'all go have an awesome day. I'm going to, and I ain't putting any hot coffee in here either.